Hi, so this is just a very quick video. I just want to recommend the book I've just finished reading. Um, it's a character I've loved for a long time. Booster Gold from... I first got into him with the JLI back in the 80s. I've never really read his solo his solo comic from that period. But I bought this book because it's been at the back of my mind all the time thinking I'd like to read some more about Booster Gold. So when I saw this was majority of it was written by Geoff Johns, I thought I'd dive into it. It's a chunky book. It's Booster Gold, the complete 2007 series, part one, book one. So predominant writer is Geoff Johns with Jeff Katz, and artwork virtually all the way through apart from the last few issues is by Dan Jurgens on pencils and Norm Munden on inks. And it's you get 16 issues for $29.99. I mean, if that was Marvel, it'd be about $49.99. But yeah, it's as thick as an epic collection. So that's the cover, and it's really good fun, especially the ones written by Geoff Johns and Jeff Katz. It's very timey-wimey. It's the closest thing, I guess, DC's got to a Doctor Who type character, where he travels all through the timeline of the DC universe, and he causes a ripple effect. So if he interferes too much, it can make the scenario much worse. So there's a lot that happens in here. Yes, Ted Kord appears, but I'm not going to tell you how. It's just great fun. It ticks all the boxes. They travel back in time to the period of the Justice League International as well. Yeah, I absolutely had a blast reading this. It was just what I wanted. I didn't want something too deep, too grim or gritty, but I also didn't want something that was silly. There's a lot of humour in this, it's especially the Geoff Johns written issues. Geoff Johns, I think, writes about 12 or 13 of the issues, so the last 4 issues are by Chuck Dixon and Rick Remender. Those are the weakest ones, but they're still good. They're just not on par with the Geoff Johns and Jeff Katz story, which is one big timey-wimey saga where Booster Gold's working for Rip Hunter, and there's a brilliant... If you've not read this, you won't know, but if you've read it, you'll know, which makes sense. But there's a really good twist in the tale about his working relationship with Rip Hunter and why Rip Hunter wants him to work with him. But yeah, it ticks all the boxes. It's so much fun. Like I said, it covers a lot of my favourite time periods. It covers the Justice League International period, covers his time with Ted Kord. He reunites with Ted Kord. It also covers the Legion of Superheroes, which is one of my favourite superhero teams. And apart from the last 2 issues, it's all illustrated by Dan Jurgens and Norm Rutmund. And for me, Dan Jurgens is one of the best standard, what I'd say, classic superhero comic illustrators, especially for DC Comics. He's basically DC's version of John Romita Jr. for Marvel. But whereas John Romita Jr.'s artwork has kind of like changed, and not necessarily for the better, Dan Jurgens has kind of like remained faithfully the same. It does the job, and it does the job well. He's not flashy, he's not a Jim Lee, but he's good, and it works. I'll happily read his anything that is illustrated by him. I think because he's a writer as well, he knows how to get story beats into a page as well. And his facial expressions for people, especially Max Lord, are really good. So yeah, it's a very engrossing time travel saga. I got this yesterday. I started reading it last night, and I picked it up again this afternoon, and I've just finished it now. And there's like I said, there's 16 issues in it, so it's not a thin book. But I was engrossed. I just wanted to find out what was happening, where it was going to end up going, and it's made me like Booster Gold even more. Yeah, he's a fuck up, but he's a lovable fuck up, and he knows he's a fuck up. So I think he makes it quite relatable for people. You know, he's kind of like a cosmic Peter Parker in a way, and yeah, it's good. Because I think that's what put me off him in the 80s when he had his own series back then, was because he was very brash, very full of bravado, very much just out for fame, and that's been. You can tell this is a guy who's realised that there's more to life than this now. This is an older wise, well, not wiser, but an older Booster Gold who's learnt from his past, kind of learnt from his past mistakes, but he makes new mistakes and he learns from them. And the supporting cast is really good. He's living with his his a distant relative of his. I think it's like his great 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 dad or something like that. Who and it's just great. And his great 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 relative is even more of a knucklehead than he is. So for the Jeff Johns section of the book, which say takes up about 12 issues or even 13 issues, I'd give it a 8 out of 10. For the backup ones, they're still well written, so I give them 7 out of 10. For the book overall, I give it an 8 out of 10, and I do highly recommend it. Like I said, it's $29.99, but you get a lot of comic for that price. Like I said, if this was a Marvel comic, there'd be putting an extra $10 on top of that. So yeah, it came out later on. I think it was either earlier on this year or late last year. So it's Booster Gold Complete 2007 series, book 1, and it collects Booster Gold 0 to 14 and issue 1 million. Yeah, buy it, you'll love it. I did. I was surprised by how much I really enjoy this. Okay, bye.